So welcome to Master Page. Now, last week we looked at how to solve quadratic equation using the factorization method. But today we'll be looking at how to solve quadratic equation using the completing the square method. So let's go without wasting time. Now, for you to use the completing the square method, the first thing to do, or the steps to follow rather, is this. Step 1 is that you are going to make the coefficient of x squared to become 1. And how will you do that? By using the coefficient of x squared to divide through all the terms. So the coefficient of x squared here is 4. Any number attached to x squared is called the coefficient. So I'm going to divide everything, each of the term, by 4. So this is our first step. And when you do that, this will give us x squared, because this 4 will cancel this 4. And then this 4 will cancel this. You are left with x. And then we still have 3 over 4. 4 divided 0 is 0. So this is our first step. Okay? Now, our second step is this. The second step is we are going to move this third term on this left-hand side to the right-hand side. So our second step is move the third term to the right-hand side. So if minus 3 crosses over, it becomes 3 over 4. Can you see that? Good. Now let's go to our third step. Our third step is this. We have to make the left-hand side a perfect square. And when we do that, we are going to look for what to be added rather to this left-hand side to make it a perfect square. When we find it, we add it to both sides. So this is where the shortcut becomes handy. And how do we get that number that will be added to make it a perfect square? We simply multiply the coefficient of x here by half and we square it. Remember, the coefficient of x here is minus 1, right? So if we times this minus 1 by half and square everything, that is what will be added. So, and that will give us minus 1 times half is minus half. And when we square minus half, we get 1 over 4. So this 1 over 4 is what we're going to add now to both sides. So this is our step 3. We're adding 1 over 4 to both sides, okay? So let's do that. So I'm going to have x squared minus x plus 1 over 4. I'm going to also add it here, plus 1 over 4. You can see I've added 1 over 4 to both sides. Now when you do that, our step 4 is that we are going to factorize this left-hand side now. How do we do that? Since we know that this is a perfect square, it becomes very easy to factorize. You take the square root of this first term, and that is x. You take the sign that follows immediately. You take the square root of the third term, and that is 1 over 2. You group everything together and square. That is how to factorize any quadratic expression that is a perfect square. And then here we add these two together. Everything here will give us 1, okay? I believe we all know how to solve our fractions. So that gives us 1. Now let's go. So we are left now with, hope you can see that, we are having x minus 1 over 2. I'm going to get rid of this square now. And that is going to give me plus or minus square root of 1. Okay? And so I'm having x is equal to, I move this minus half down here, becomes plus half, plus or minus square root of 1. And the square root of 1 is still 1. Can you see that? So therefore, I can now split it. S is equal to half plus 1, or x is equal to half minus 1. So from here, my answer is what? Is 1 whole number 1 over 2, or my answer is minus half. So these are the two values of x. And so this is how to apply the completing the square method. I hope you've gained value from this. Thanks for watching. Do have a good day.